This podcast is a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to find out more. Hey guys, Mike here. Welcome to a little bonus pod. This is basically, at the moment, what I'm trying to do is just go really hard on all my own content. And that actually sounds wrong. I think you know what I mean. I'm not getting erect over it. Anyway, basically, really trying to grow our Patreon at the moment. I know I plug it a lot and you're probably sick of it, but patreon.com/RadioMike. We're on 65 patrons and that's amazing. And it's as little as $1 a month. So we have been doing a show called The Pat and Mike Show with producer Pat and myself, and we are revamping it for season 2. We're just kind of going to structure it a bit more and make it a little bit more relevant to the main pod to give you guys a reason to jump onto the Patreon. We recorded the first one today, and I wanted to pop it up on the public feed so everyone can get a taste of what you can expect from the Pat and Mike Show. Of course, this doesn't change the other Patreon bonus show, the Overflow podcast, but yeah, you'll be able to get the Pat and Mike Show once a week, and be this format every week where we deep dive on something I've talked about on the main pod. Pat will bring his segment, and yeah, I think you guys will really enjoy this. And if you do like it and think you might want to hear this once a week, then please jump on the Patreon, patreon.com/RadioMike. As little as $1 a month. You can give $4, $8 or $12 as well, I think. And thanks to the people who do. Any amount of money that you won't notice missing from your bank account once a month would be fantastic. So I really enjoyed doing this first episode with Pat. It also gives Pat a chance to grow and develop in his skills as a producer and broadcaster. So yeah, I'm going to pass you over to me and Pat for the first episode of season 2 of the Pat and Mike Show, which from next week will be available exclusively on patreon.com/RadioMike. The Patreon's overflowing with content. Jump on board. Thanks, guys. Pat and Mike Show. Pat and Mike Show. Pat and Mike Show. Pat and Mike Show. Welcome to still going. Season 2, episode 1 of the Pat and Mike Show. Guys, if you heard 20th Century Boy this week, you would have heard we are revamping the Pat and Mike Show. I think we did maybe 15 to 16 episodes of the show and had a lot of fun, but we just wanted to streamline it a bit, make it more of a show, make it more planned, because to be honest, and welcome Pat, by the way. Welcome, Pat.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Pat, producer of the show, and Pat will have a bigger role on the Pat and Mike Show. Well, basically, you know, season 1, I would just text Pat and say, hey, do you want to do a Pat and Mike? And Pat would be like, yep. And then we'd have no idea what we were going to talk about, and we'd just start.
It was just bullshit, yeah.
Yeah. We're actually going to plan it. We're going to have some segments. It'll be about half an hour, and it's going to be weekly, and Pat's going to be paid because Pat's taking a quick step back at the moment from video editing because I have heaps of time. So I'm going to do the clips, and I'm going to pay Pat to do this. So Pat, well done, man. This is going to be fun.
Thank you.
I got the idea to revamp Pat and Mike a bit when the last episode of season 1, we were talking about the Michael Jackson stuff, and we were just kind of deep diving into something from the show in a bit more detail and less comedically than on the main show, which I thought was sort of just a good way to get more content out of the show. So how it's going to work is every week, I think I'm going to bring a deep dive into a topic I talked about on the show. And then Pat's got a segment that he's going to bring that he's going to explain later. And then we're both going to end the show by, I think, recommending something that week that we've been enjoying, like just whether it's a show, a movie, a game, or an album, whatever it might be. We're just going to, because I enjoy talking about that. But Pat, let's just start off with, how have you been? How's your week been?
Not too bad, man. It's been busy. It's been pretty busy. I'm currently juggling about 5 active clients at the moment.
Nice.
My most recent addition was Shepmates, who...
Yeah, I've heard of those guys. What do they do?
Yeah, so they're on TikTok, and I believe they either have a YouTube presence or they're about to have a YouTube presence. But basically, they do sport-related content, specifically AFL. And they're famous for their lip sync videos on TikTok of them doing comedic lip syncing.
commentary?
To AFL commentary.
I have seen them actually.
Yeah, great guys. And yeah, we're getting started on that, and that's going to be good.
So you're going to be cutting up videos for them?
Yeah, definitely. So that should be fun. And then, yeah, still work for Adam and Simon, still work for Ferg Neil, you, and yeah, it's been fun, man. What about you? What's your week been like?
Been a pretty busy-ish week. Just finished up my 3AW cross for the week, and other than that, like, as I've said on the pod, at the moment I'm just putting everything into TCB content and even Harry Potter and the Boys content and pushing my own brand as much as possible. Did that sketch with a couple sketches with Jack, and you also featured in a sketch with Jack Post, which would have been cool. How was that for you?
That was really fun. It was so funny because I was in Melbourne that weekend as a Geelong resident, for those who don't know. And yeah, he texted me, I think, the day before, and it's like, or was it that morning? I can't remember, but sometime in between. And he said, hey, do you want to come over and do a skit? And I was like, I'd love to. And he gave me the brief. He just, gave the rough idea, and we went for it. And it's funny because initially I was quite nervous going in, because I didn't really think much about, what funny stuff am I going to do? What's my, identity going to be? Okay, overthinking with that kind of language, but identity in the sense of, what will my comedic identity be? But it was a fucking video for Instagram, and for what it was, I'm really happy with how it came out. Jack sent me the rough cut that morning before he posted it, and I loved it. It was so good.
Yeah, it was really funny, man. It was like the Illuminati painting one. Awesome stuff. And Jack wants to do a lot more of those sketches, so we wrote a couple other ideas down for what we wanted to do. And
awesome.
Yeah, I was in one, I got 100 followers and stuff, so just in terms of growing the brand, it'd be pretty good. So yeah, other than that, it's this weekend I'm just going to a house party and then chilling. Nice. Nothing too big. I wanted to get into our first little segment, which is something I wanted to talk about from this week. I've made some segment openers, so let's do one of these. Deep dive. It's a deep dive. And it's the aquatic ambience theme from Donkey Kong Country. Fun times. Because dive, get it? Get the analogy?
You're a very clever boy, Mike.
I wanted to talk this week, something sort of skyrocketing off the 20th Century Boy podcast is this discussion of... I did the clip that kind of went a little viral on YouTube about the Little Mermaid being recast as a black actress, and lots of people really angry about this. I made the point... And I think in the video I actually said, if you have a problem with this, you might be racist, which, I think a lot of people with the podcast think that I don't know, some people maybe don't have the same comedic literacy as me, maybe. Because, I was even talking to Keelan last night. I hung out with Keelan, and he said, you've got, a niche sense of humor. And I was I just think it's a bit more educated, maybe, than other creators. That's what I think, personally. Because I have a university degree, whatever. But I think a lot of people who don't get it, they take everything I say literally, and they don't understand that there's everything I say on the podcast is veiled in some level of comedic irony, and so I probably went a bit hard by saying it's explicitly racist to think this.
Yeah.
But my main point, and I stand by it, is that if you care this much about a cartoon about a fish lady that lives under the ocean, then come on. Someone actually, I saw the dumbest comment on YouTube just before that.
Oh no.
Someone commented this: have you even watched the movie? Sebastian is not her friend. Because I say that her best friend is a talking lobster, and it's actually they're not friends. I'm you're getting way too into it. So what are your deep dive on this? What are your overall thoughts on this sort of topic?
With Halle Bailey being cast as Ariel, I didn't really have any initial feelings when I first heard the news about a year or two ago, whenever it roughly was. But what I do remember is, naturally, I hadn't heard of her before, so I tried to look up, see if she'd done any movies or singing, whatever, and there was...
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought it was Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Very similar. I think Halle Berry came out and said, even for a split second, I thought I was cast as Ariel. And I was like, what? I never agreed to this.
I was like, I don't remember this.
Yeah. But there's a cover online that she did. Just a quick video of her singing Unforgettable by Nat King Cole. And it's beautiful. She sounds exactly like Ariel. And from that, I thought, perfect.
I'll get some of the audio. I'll pop some of the audio in so people can hear it.
Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me. Wish that I...
Wow, that was a beautiful little sample. See, if that doesn't convince you...
By the way, it's not going to be in the video version, so if you're watching the video version, I'm only putting it in the audio.
Yeah.
It's way too hard to put it in the video, so just the audio. Go on.
Sorry, video listeners. So I think she's a great choice. When I saw the trailer, I thought she looked really good. Honestly, the thing I got pissed off about the most, even though we barely saw him, Flounder looks like shit. Like, zero character.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you see. Like, you can see him for a split second.
I'm Googling it now.
Yeah, for a split second you can see him. And he's like this little carp or something. And he, like, doesn't even remotely resemble. Like, even with the recent Disney remakes, to their credit, I heard the Pinocchio one wasn't very good, but to its credit, at least Jiminy Cricket has a pretty decent resemblance to the cartoon.
Likewise with, like, even Pinocchio and Geppetto. Like, Geppetto's Tom Hanks, but he looks exactly like Geppetto from the original cartoon. I guess, like, one comment that I did see that piqued my interest a bit, for lack of a better word, someone did make this point, and a lot of people were saying, well, actually, it's a Danish fairy tale, so, you know, it's not enough. Like, anyway, but then one person said, would it be okay to cast a white person as Black Panther? But I actually think I'm going to put my deep dive on that, right? Because I get where they're coming from, but I kind of disagree because Black Panther as a character, like as a Marvel superhero, was created like specifically to be a black superhero. Like the whole point, the whole backstory of that character, the lore of that character, it was supposed to be both within the fiction itself, but as a cultural thing, it was supposed to be like, this is your black superhero, your black Marvel superhero, right? And then even, you know, Spider-Man was Peter Parker, and then they also did Miles Morales more recently, who is a black Spider-Man. It's a little bit different because it's a different character. But I kind of disagreed with the Black Panther thing because I'm like, Ariel the Little Mermaid is literally a fairy tale by some Dutch guy from like fucking who knows when. And
200 years ago.
It's a children's film marketed for little girls, really. So why do you care this much? Like, and people are like, oh, Disney is just like, you know, woke signaling, and they're only doing it for like the woke points. And you know me, you've talked to me behind the scenes of this show, you know I'm not remotely woke, but I don't think I just think it's like, you know what really touched me actually is when the trailer came out, someone made a compilation of all these young black girls responding to it in awe and being like, oh my God, she looks like me. And I just thought that was so powerful, and the exact reason why I think representation like this does matter. What do you reckon?
No, I 100% agree. I saw those same videos too. And yeah, I know there was so much discourse from that. I think there was some right-wing commentator who said, like, scientifically, she shouldn't be black. And it's like, I agree with what you're saying.
Wait. Someone said scientifically a mermaid shouldn't be black.
Yeah.
Does he know? Like, he does know that mermaids don't exist, right? Let's not. He does know that. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you, man.
Scientifically,
like, I think
nothing in the movie makes sense. There's a singing Jamaican lobster, guys. This is my point. That's just the fundamental point, is that there is no science.
Yeah, I know. Hey, besides, I think we're forgetting the real thing, the real issue here. The fact that they had a perfectly great choice to cast as a live-action Sebastian, which was singer Shaggy, and they didn't cast him.
Why do you think Shaggy would have been the best choice?
Well, in 2019, they did this in America. They did this ABC special where they got a bunch of actors and singers and shit to do a live stage performance of Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
And they got people like the voice, I forget her name, but the voice of Moana to play Ariel, and she did a great job.
Yeah.
And they got Shaggy as Sebastian. And his rendition of Under the Sea is awesome. It's like, oh my God, get him for the movie. Honestly, I think that's the real issue here, the fact that we didn't get Shaggy. But no, in all seriousness, I'm sure Halle's going to do a great job. People online just be fucking dickheads as usual.
And out of interest, what do you think of the Black Panther analogy? Like, do you agree with my thoughts on
I
that,
think that's so fucking stupid. Because, like, I get the initial premise. I get, like, where they're coming from with that.
If we reverse the roles, I get it.
Yeah. But, it's like the context is just so different. You know what I mean? Because, like you said, Black Panther made specifically for that. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like Daredevil was, you know, it's like, there isn't a blind superhero. Well, let's give him one. You know what I mean? Plus, I think overall, when it comes, like, regardless of whatever these remakes, whether they're doing one of Little Mermaid, they're doing a new Batman, they're doing a new Lord of the Rings, like, it doesn't matter who they cast in the end, because we're going to get so many different interpretations of that, and so many different interpretations of that character and of those stories, like, as we progress. Because think of, like, every, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot, every Batman reboot, you know what I mean? Even, like, the Doctor Who actors, I think, is a great analogy as well. It's like, we had all these people, and now we're getting, you know, we're mixing it up. You know, we got a lady.
I guess I think as well, like, I'm trying to think of a movie that I really like, and if they recast the person as black in a reboot, right? But then I'm literally, I just go back to Spider-Man, because, like, I love the original Spider-Man movies, but if they did a live action Miles Morales, I would think that was awesome. And you know what? If they just made a black Peter Parker, I wouldn't care at all. Like, I'd be like, oh yeah, I guess cool. It's like how they're making the new Velma from Scooby-Doo series, and she's brown because I think it's Mindy Kaling doing it, and everyone's annoyed about it. I'm like, who cares? Like,
exactly.
It's a cartoon.
It's funny to expand on that Spider-Man analogy, because a couple years ago, Stephen Colbert brought up the whole, there's a call to get a black actor to play Spider-Man. And he said, this is an artist's rendition of what a black Spider-Man would look like. And it was just Spider-Man in the costume, like the exact same Spider-Man, which I think is a great point in itself.
Stan Lee, who created Spider-Man, has been quoted as saying, the reason I made Spider-Man wear a mask was because any kid could be Spider-Man. Like, any kid reading the comics could think they were Spider-Man. It didn't matter what their race was, what their, like, their gender, but, like, it didn't matter what their race was. It didn't matter what their skin color was. It was just Spider-Man is Spider-Man. Now, of course, Peter Parker was a white character, but he said through that mask, you couldn't tell that. So you knew that, you didn't know what race it was. And I think
there was literally a joke about it in No Way Home from fucking Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a black Spider-Man out there. Yeah. And it's alluding to Miles Morales, obviously. Interesting deep dive. Do you want to talk about your segment that you're going to bring today?
I would.
I do have an opener for it. So
I was about to say, just for the record, I have not heard this opener yet. I asked Mike, hey, do you want to make one after the recording? But he said, nah, I got it. So, ladies and gentlemen, before my segment begins, here is the world premiere for both you and I of Mike's Sting. Play it away, Mike.
Pat's Micro Interests. What'd you think?
That was pretty good. I thought you were going to do a bit of a little silly thing there, play on words, but that's okay. No, that was good.
Micro penis.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to make that a segment because everyone knows it's true. But yeah, Pat's micro interest, everybody. So basically, a micro interest, a hyperfixation. What are these things? Basically, I tend to have a big group of these, what I like to call micro interests, where, you know, most people say, or, you know, the average person might think, oh yeah, I like this thing, that thing, and that thing. I like basketball, I like superhero movies, and I like reading. But as for me, I have so many, like, niche interests and, like, things I love to dwell on in my brain that I think, I can just talk about this all day.
And that's actually why I made this podcast in the first place, because I'm exactly the same. So when Pat said he wanted to do this segment, I was like, yeah, seems to fit with what I did. So, yep, cool.
Yeah, so, and I thought this would be a great opportunity for not only me to go on about my little micro interests that I love and I think fondly of, but also for Mike to expand and to get a second opinion on.
And you know what? For the listeners to send in theirs. If there's something that you want us to dismantle, even if we don't know about it, we can use this segment to do it. So if there's something like, hey guys, go and read the Wikipedia page for, I don't know, Beyblades, and we'll talk about Beyblades, like whatever you want, right? Because especially for Pat and Mike, it's like a lot of this stuff that we're talking about wouldn't make the main pod. So this is what, like the Pat and Mike, we kind of unpack stuff a bit more. So what are you bringing one this week?
I am, and my very first micro interest topic is holidays, but not holidays as in going on a holiday and experiencing the holiday. But
yeah, because I feel like that's not a micro interest, that's a maxi interest.
Maxi interest. I like that. I like that a lot.
So, guys, send me a maxi interest as well. We will do maxi interest.
But no, more specifically, the experience before the holiday. And what experience is that? That is going to the airport and being on an airplane. Me personally, I find that just as fucking exciting as the holiday itself. And why?
Are you serious?
Dude. Okay, there's probably...
I thought you were going to bring something like, I don't know, Captain Planet or something like that. And you're like, nah, it's airports. My hobby is airports. Now we have to spend 9 minutes at least talking about airports. Pat, please take it away. Jesus Christ. You know, for the first one of these, because this is going on the public feed as well.
Oh,
right, for everyone to hear it. You know, I thought just as a teaser, so it's like, hey, this is what you can expect from this bonus show on Patreon. Sign up now. And you're bringing airports and planes.
Well, mate,
Fucking hell.
I mean...
Jesus Christ. Well, no one's going to sign up now.
Hey, if anyone signs up for the Patreon after listening to this episode, send Mike or I a message specifically saying that you liked the airplane talk. And that'll show Mike that he's dead wrong.
While we're here, we also have to do a quick salute to a brand new Patreon that jumped on
fantastic.
an hour ago before recording. So, Patreon Richard Dawes, welcome to the Patreon family. We salute you. Pat, go on. We are now on 65 patrons, which is...
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Continue, Pat.
Okay. Yeah, well, basically, I think this probably comes from a place where growing up, I only got to go on holiday maybe every 3 to 6 years. I think throughout my childhood, I went on about 3 to 5 holidays, and most of them were in the same place. But even with that said, air travel... I just find to be such a beautiful casual thing that I appreciate every step. And basically from everything from, so look, packing and all that the night, you know, during the week, not talking about that. I'm talking about the excitement, the adrenaline, the euphoria from waking up at like 4 a.m, needing to get up to go to the airport, the holiday's coming, that feeling. I just love that. And so, but not only that, it's going to the airport. Now, going to the airport is like, I just always found so exciting. Like, even, like, if my parents ever had to go pick someone up or drop someone off at the airport, I would always insist on coming just so I could go. Because to me, an airport represents adventure, excitement, something greater to come. And so just like going to the airport, just, you know, getting to go inside, I love it. When 2 of my best friends went to Japan when I was about 19, I said, I'll sleep over with you guys and we'll all go to the airport together. And it's like, we're getting up pretty early, man. Okay. Fine with me.
I love that you love airports so much that your friends were going on a holiday. You weren't even going on the holiday, but you went to the airport with them and like acted as though you were going on the holiday. That's insane.
Yeah.
But why didn't you just go to Japan with them?
Oh, well, I don't know. Why don't we take that leap? Why don't we initiate that call? There's 1,000,001 things that could have been the case, Mike.
When was the last time you were at an airport?
Last year when I went to Queensland with my good friend Jasper.
And what airports have you been to? And what's your favourite?
Well, All right. What airports have I been to? Well, big variety here. We got Melbourne Tullamarine Airport,
Classic.
Brisbane Airport,
Classic. Yeah.
Gold Coast Airport,
Classic.
and Hamilton Island
Oh,
Airport.
you've been to Hamilton Island?
I have. My auntie had a wedding
Cool.
when I was 8, and that holiday... Oh, I could talk about that holiday just for a whole episode. But we're not here for specific holidays. If you'd like to hear any stories of my holidays, please hit me up. I'll gladly talk about that. But for now, we're talking about the experience, the holiday before the holiday.
So
well, for me at least.
I have to completely disagree with you on this micro interest because, like, for me, I hate the airport. I just think I think whenever I enter an airport, I feel this just general feeling of intimidation. Like, there's security everywhere. You know, everyone's being checked for bombs. You have that looming fear of the fact that if someone does get a gun or weapon onto the plane, you have no escape. You're literally on a flying building soaring through the sky over the ocean, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I actually feel trauma response when I enter an airport. And I've talked on the main pod about how I have no idea how airports work or what to do with them, and I get lost and stuck, and I just don't enjoy at all the experience of the airport. I also think there's so much waiting around at the airport, which I hate.
Yeah.
Once when I was flying to Japan with some friends, the plane was delayed by like 4 hours, so we were just lying on the floor of the airport trying to pass time, which was really boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really like airports at all. The food there is really shitty. There's people everywhere rushing and I don't think it's fun at all, and I just want it to be over. I was actually talking about this with Jack Post because he now is on like flying first class international money, and we both agreed that like I would pay so much more money, honestly, to just if there was just like you take a pill before you wake up in the morning and take a pill and you wake up at your destination. Like, I would pay maximum money to just not have to experience anything to do with the airport. And you're here saying, no, I love airports almost as much as I love traveling, which to me is just next level insanity. What else was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know. I don't like airports. I do like holidays, but I don't like airports.
Yeah. Oh, the holidays are undoubtedly better, but Mike, it doesn't just stop there.
Okay.
I don't just love going to the airports and going through security and going through the terminals and getting to sit on those big fucking seats. You know what I love just as much, if not probably my favorite part?
Being on the plane?
Being on the fucking plane. Dude.
Okay, but you've never done an international flight on a economy plane. Do you know what it's like to sit in one of those seats? Like, I mean,
I imagine it'd be fucking excruciating.
Yeah.
But honestly,
10 hours
I think there's the fun in that. I think it's the fun in that.
No, it's the worst. It is the worst. I don't know, man. There is nothing good about it. Okay, do you have any more points about planes and airports?
Okay, well, going on the airplane itself, it's not an everyday experience. Like, for most people, you're not flying every day. You're only flying for, maybe there's people out there who fly for business pretty often. Maybe there's people who fucking, whatever, they fly as a hobby or whatever. Maybe I should get into that. Maybe I should just get into fucking, on the weekends, just like paying like $40 for a return trip on Tiger or something and just coming back. Maybe maybe that's how I should spend my time. But actually, I considered doing that once. But anyway, getting on the plane itself, like for me, it's like you get to sit down, you got your tray table, you got your fuck all leg room, and it sucks. Like, it's actually shit. But then that joy of looking out the window and seeing the plane get faster and faster, slowly, and then you take off and you're in the air. Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
I had one. I'll let you talk in a sec.
Okay.
But I had one amazing experience last year where on my way when I went to Queensland last year, I put in my headphones as we were taking off, and I cued it exactly. I cued it to the point exactly where as we were taking off, like the moment we lifted the ground, I hit play on Holiday by Weezer from their first debut album.
Yeah.
and it was great.
Sorry, Pat,
and
just to tell you, first and debut do mean the same thing, so you can just use one.
well, look, we're a bit overexcited here, Mike. I mean,
can tell.
When you get me talking about the pre-holiday experience, you don't know where my brain's going.
Okay.
But yes. And what was amazing about that is, for those who haven't listened to the song before, there's the bridge has this slow build-up, and then it goes back into... I can't remember if it's the chorus or the first verse. But as it went into that bit, basically... I should have said this beforehand, and I apologise for fucking around the story, but basically, as we boarded, it was shitty, it was raining, it was cloudy, it was horrible. And as we were ascending up, the sky slowly got clearer, and right as that bridge gets to its bang point, that's a scientific term, we see clear skies, the sun, the clouds below us, the clouds around us, and it was fucking beautiful.
Yeah. I think I actually have realised that the reason that you're so enticed by airplanes and airports, and this is where I think we'll leave it if that's okay, is because you haven't flown enough. Once you start flying to Sydney every couple months to record the Remembering Project, you're just like, oh, fucking hell. I wish I could just teleport there. And you didn't do it much as a kid. So... you still have, as like a 22-year-old man, you still have the childlike wonder of like...
Yeah, I do.
You're like the guy's like, oh, I want to go in the cockpit, but you're not allowed to do that anymore. It was like when I went to Bali with my family when I was 6, we were like sitting in the cockpit and everything because you were just allowed to do that back then. All right.
Damn, must be nice.
Thanks for your first micro interest. People, feel free to
worries.
send in.
Also, it was really cool in the mid-2000s when you could watch Foxtel on Virgin. Anyway, that's all.
Okay, cool. That's our little plug for our sponsor, Virgin and Foxtel, this week. Finally, don't have a segment name or sweeper for this yet, but let's just recommend, just quickly to wrap up, recommend something that you've just been vibing this week. Anything you've liked.
Well, we might be having the same thing, but what I'm going to recommend is the new Channel 4 UK series of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the continuation of the YouTube series. I'm about 3 episodes in, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's a lot more, there's a lot more to absorb than the standard YouTube series, and it's expanding. And it's really...
And do you want to just tell people just a loose description of what it is from the YouTube to the full series now?
Yeah.
What is Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared? I've watched it.
Yeah, no, great media training. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is a surrealist series on YouTube, and it parodies and satires children's media like Sesame Street, things like Play School, and it has a very adult and surreal take on it.
So you've got these 3 kind of like Muppet-esque characters that are kind of creepy in their designs, and the thing sort of starts as if it's like an episode of a kids' TV show, but then it sort of goes into these really... especially the YouTube series, which would usually just short videos that were super creepy. Now it's been picked up as an E4 series. I've watched the first couple episodes and it's really good. Everyone should check it out, I think. It's quite disturbing, but it's like... I think what spooked me when I originally saw the YouTube version is the YouTube version just sort of went viral with no context about what it was or who made it or what it was trying to say. The YouTube channel Film Theory by Matt Pat does an analysis of the video and explains like what it's all about. But yeah, it is really cool. And Sam Campbell, who we saw at the Comedy Festival, is a writer on it, and he does some voice acting on it as well. So it is really, really fun. I'll wrap us up. I watched this series. I did watch Don't Hug Me, and I was thinking of that, but I thought you'd do it. But I watched this series on, I think it's on Disney Plus, but I Jack Sparrow everything now and use Plex, so I don't know. It's called Reboot, and it's a sitcom about this team of writers who are trying to reboot a sitcom from the 90s into 2022.
Oh, that's funny.
All the actors have like problems with each other, but they've all signed up to do it, but they're not really cooperating and everything like that. And there were 3 episodes out and I watched all of them and really, really liked it. And I guess because I work in the media, it was really interesting. So Reboot was my recommendation for this week. Guys, I think that's it, Patty. I think that's the first ep of the new Pat and Mike show. This is kind of what we envision it being. Like I said, this one's going to go on the public feed as well. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh yeah, I could get around this once a week. Patreon is only $1 a week, $1 a month rather. So it's like 25 cents a week. And it goes a long way to helping us. And we are on 65 Patrons. Let's get to 70. We're going to do an episode of this every week. And it's going to be structured like this. So if you find this interesting, jump on the Patreon now. And to all our already subscribed Patreon members, thank you so much. Like, it means a lot. That's how we're paying Pat to do this and keeping him on the books, because he's a valuable guy whose time is valuable and we want to respect that. So Pat, thanks for doing this and agreeing to kind of step this show up with me. I'm excited.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, man.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll catch you next week on Pat and Mike. Pat and Mike Show. Pat and Mike Show. Pat and Mike Show. Pat and Mike Show. This podcast was a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to check out all our other content, stay up to date at radio.mike on Instagram, and get in touch, radiomikepod@gmail.com.